I'm Kathy Ondas. I'm with Simply Cards by Kathy, and I'm really happy that you're here with me for Simple Sunday Stamping. At the end of the weekend, it's always been busy, hectic, and you're a little bit tired, so it's kind of nice to do something on Sunday evening that's a little bit fun and relaxing. So tonight we're going to make 3 cards. They're actually Frightfully Cute cards, and they're done with the Frightfully Cute stamp set. And I'm going to show you how to make 3 of them. And I've done a lot of the work ahead of time, so I think it should go pretty quick and pretty smoothly. Hopefully I can show you a tip or two, and you'll enjoy it. If you do enjoy it at the end, please give me a thumbs up and help me grow my channel. Also, if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'd be honored to be your demonstrator and help you with getting the supplies or anything that you need or any questions that you have. If you're in need of a catalog, just go up to the top, click on my website and contact me, and I'll be happy to mail you a catalog. All right, I'm going to flip this camera down, make sure that you have good views, and we're going to get started. Hopefully you can see me pretty well right now and that you have a good view of the desk. If not, please write in the comments and I will try hard to watch those comments and answer you. If I can't answer you during the video, I promise to go back and answer your questions later on. So you can see I have my Frightfully Cute stamp set here, and I actually have the bundle. I have my dies in with my stamps, and I have several of the stamps already on blocks that we're going to use. So it's a really cute stamp set, and I have to admit I don't often buy stamp sets that are specialized to a certain day like Valentine's or Halloween, but I thought these would be really darling and make some cute cards, especially for the grandkids. So we're going to get started. Just in case you're wondering, the stamp set is in our mini catalog and it's on page 52, and it's called the Frightfully Cute Bundle, and you get 10% off if you buy it as a bundle, but you can also just buy the stamps or the Frightful tags separately. I'm going to be using a lot of the Halloween Designer Series paper for these cards. And they come in 6x6, and there's 48 sheets, and I'm just going to show them to you. They're called Cute Halloween, and you can see the different patterns and colors here, and we're going to be using a good part of these for the cards we're making. And if you flip them over, the other side is mostly blacks and whites and some orange and black. So let's set these off to the side, and we're going to bring in our first card. The first card we're going to make is this little, actually cute card that's just done with Designer Series paper and some cardstock. Very quick and easy to do, and I'm also going to show you how to decorate the envelopes, because there should never be a naked envelope when you're sending a card out. So let's move these off to the side. Now all the measurements for these cards will be posted tomorrow morning for you, but I am using the 3.5 by 5 note cards that are Stampin' Up note cards. It's a pack that comes with the envelopes and the note card. You can also cut these to the size of 7 by 5, scored at 3.5, and you'll have the same size note card that I'm going to be working with right now. So we're going to take our first card, and you can see it's scored for us. So I'm just going to grab my bone folder, and we're going to go over here and make sure that we did a nice clean fold line. And I'm going to set that off. Now for this card, I chose 2 papers, and they are cut the same size as the card. They're cut 3.5 by 5. And what we're going to do, and you can actually see I chose the paper, a piece of paper that's on the back. And if you just heard that sneeze, that's my golden Bailey, who's here to help me, and he may stick his head up here, so I apologize if he does. You have two 3.5 by 5 pieces of designer series paper. And you can see I have it cut on an angle here. It doesn't matter on what angle you cut it, because what we're going to do is piece these papers together so that we have can cover the card. So I'm just putting it in here, and I'm just going to cut it in half. And you can see they're not even, and they're not meant to be. Set that over to the side. We're going to bring in our card, and you now have enough to make 2 cards. And I'm going to show you. This will make 1 card, and if you turn this over, you have a second card. So let's go ahead and put our designer series paper on, and I am going to pull in my silicone mat. I really think this paper is so cute, especially for the little ones. So I'm just going to put it around the edges and up the center. And I'm going to go ahead, and I want my little ghosts on the top. So I'm going to go ahead in here, and you just line it up and press, make sure it's down. And then I'm going to take the matching bottom for this and put the glue on. And we're going to adhere that, and you want to get a nice tight fit. Now it looks like I don't have that, but that's okay, because I'm going to show you how to fix it. So we have that here, press it down. I then took a piece of cardstock. I wanted to bring in a little bit of the pumpkin pie color that's in the cardstock. And since I don't have such a tight fit there, I'm going to, I cut this 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to go and adhere it down. But I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, because I don't, when I go to trim it off, I don't want my scissors to be all full of glue. So you can go in right here. That kind of covers up the gap very nicely. And take your snips, and you're just going to go in and snip that there. And snip that there. So, and we'll set this off to the side for you to do a different card. Okay, we have that done, and I actually, all of my greetings are from the Frightfully Cute stamp set. This says less trickin' and more treating. So I'm going to build this up with Stampin' Dimensionals, because I just would like it to be up a little bit. So let me grab those. And we're going to put a couple of those right here. I tend to use a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals because I always worry about as things go through the mail. And that noise you hear is my golden digging up a throw rug, because I'm not paying attention to him. So he is quite the character, and will do about anything he can to get my attention. I'm going to get rid of these, and then I'm just going to put this right here in the middle. Here we go. Now on the inside of the card, I don't want to leave it blank, so I cut a 1/4 inch piece of the matching designer series paper, and I'm just going to adhere it right to the edge here, just to kind of give it a little bit of a decorative look. And we'll put that right here. And again, if there's any hanging off, it's easy to snip with the paper snaps. Oops. And that's also a good reason to use the glue, because you can slide it and reapply it rather than if you're using the Stampin' Plus tape. Once it's down, it's down. And to get it up, you'll end up ripping your card. So we have that on. I'm just going to trim that off. And then we're going to stamp wishing you a happy Halloween, which is also from the, or happy Halloween to you, I'm sorry, which is also from our, always when you don't want to do something like that, you do. So I'm going to put this to make sure my card is straight, and then just go straight down and come up. So there's the inside of our card. So here's card number 1. And what we're going to do now is decorate the envelope. This is a 2-inch wide piece of matching designer series paper. And all I'm going to do is put some glue on the edge of the envelope, flap all the way around. Take my designer series paper and just adhere it. And then you're just going to cut around the edge of the flap. And it just adds something to the envelope when you're sending the card. So very easy to do. You always have extra designer series paper as scraps. And here's our first card with our matching envelope. So really cute. I love those little ghosts. So let's set that off to the side. Now our second card is made all with die cuts. And we're going to change it up a little bit. But this was made again with 3.5 by 5 note card. Used some designer series paper and some cardstock. Now I embossed the cardstock, and when I embossed it, I used the brick and mortar 3D embossing folder. I really liked the look it gave it, and it looked like the spider web was crawling up the wall. So we're going to do this one. And I'm going to set this off to the side and bring in our supplies. Again, I did a lot of the cutting ahead of time so that we could just keep moving on. Now here's the nice part. I have a piece of cardstock, or actually a note card, that got hit with the ink. But we're going to be able to use that anyway, because we're covering the whole thing up with the designer series paper. So let's go ahead and fold this and score it. And with this one, we're going to adhere the little skeleton heads to the front of the card. You can see these are really pretty quick and simple cards to make. I love them. I love simple cards, but I also like to step it up a notch at times. So let's adhere this, and again, this is our side that got hit with the ink pad. And let's adhere this down. Now you might be saying out there, oh gee, she used that embossing folder to make the card, but you don't need to. If you don't have it, that's no big deal. It's going to look just as cute. So here's a piece of Highland Heather. I wanted to pick up the color of the raven or the bird. So you can do that just as easily plain or with the embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and use the one that's embossed. And we're simply going to go ahead and, if I'm using something that's embossed, I always use my multi-purpose glue, because I find it adheres a little better. And if I have to slide it, it's easier to do. Now I want this one on an angle. So what I'm going to do is just slide it a little bit. There we go. And adhere it down. Okay, now the next thing for this one is I'm going to put our, I have a spider web cut out, and I use the dies for that. But I wanted to show you, and I guess I'll show you with the next card. When I have a very detailed die cut and I have to push all these out, one of the things that I use that I found that works really well is my piercing mat. I will actually put my die cut on here and I will simply push through, and they adhere to the piercing mat, all those little pieces, and they don't get all over the place. And then you can easily just brush them into the wastebasket. And we're going to do that with the next card. So with this, a couple ways to do it. I just take my multi-purpose glue and I put a dab, and I don't put it everywhere. I just dab it. Now there is another way you can do this. And let's see if I have it. I do. I have a sponge that I use, and I use a paper clip and a piece of sponge, and you can just put a little bit of glue on your silicone mat. I dip in my sponge and then I just dab my die cut lightly. And we'll move this off to the side, and I adhere it. And that's an easy, very easy way to apply glue to these real intricate die cuts. And then I just pop my, I'll rinse it off when I'm done. I pop it back in my container, cover it up, and I have it to use for the next time. We have our greeting, and I also wanted to adhere a spider. So what I did on the other one that I showed you, I actually fussy cut the spider out, and I just cut it very simply. You don't have to do anything extravagant. I'm just cutting it almost like a thermometer in a bulb. And I just keep turning my paper, and then I'm going to come up. Okay. And what I'm going to do is just glue him right down on top of here. So we'll just add a little bit of glue. And then we're going to pop up the label with our Stampin' Dimensionals. And I have glue on my fingers, so the Stampin' Dimensionals are sticking to them. One thing, I don't know, I always keep some hand sanitizer, especially when I'm gluing, because if you get glue on your hands and just put a little bit of hand sanitizer on, it takes the glue off, and then nothing sticks to you. And greeting on there. And I cut again, this is a 1/4 inch instead of an 1/8. Again, it matches the Designer Series paper, and I'm just going to put that along the bottom edge just to dress it up a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to stamp our inside greeting again. Happy Halloween to you. And here's our second card. Less tricking, more treating. I think that's so cute, and I love the embossed look of it. So we have 2 cards done, and just the envelope to do. Now our third card coming up is different, because what I did is I used all die cuts, except for, I believe I stamped the greeting and the moon. So I did a lot of die cuts, and we are just going to make that card as we go along. But super fun, cute die set. Make some really cute cards. And actually, for those of you that have children or grandchildren, it would be fun to do that with them. That was how I got stamping. I started when my daughters were very young, and we used to do some stamping in the evening and on the weekends together as an activity. So here's our card, and that's number 2. So let's set that off to the side. And we're going to bring in our last card, our third card. Okay, this is our third card, and it's going to look like this. I love the witch, and there's a couple different ways you can do it. I was playing with this, and I will tell you, here I cut the moon out, and I wanted to stamp the witch so it looked like she was flying across the moon. So I did not build the, I did not stick the moon on with Stampin' Dimensionals. I actually glued it, and then I stamped the witch down. But then you get just a small area in here that stays white. And there's 2 things you can do with that. I used just a Sharpie marker and filled in the black, or you can use your black blender pen and do it. So let's work on this card, because I think this one's going to be a lot of fun to do too. So we're going to go ahead and, again, these are note cards by Stampin' Up. They're 3.5 by 5, but you can make your own. You can cut basic white or the thick basic white at 7 by 5 and score it at 3.5. So with this card, I chose to use the candy corn or the candy paper. And mostly because my greeting kind of goes with that. My greeting on this card is which way to the candy. So I thought they just kind of went together really cute. So we're going to go ahead and put our candy corn on. Again, using the multi-purpose glue because it lets me slide it. And I cut out all these little pieces ahead of time. And even out of the designer series paper that I used on actually our first card, I went ahead and cut out some of the little ghosts because I thought they'd be really cute on the card. Oops. So I cut out 2 ghosts, and I did a owl. I love owls. And I did my moon. And I did a tree. So we're going to pull from all of these and make our card. When I cut out the witch's hat, I wanted to do something different than just black, so I cut one out using the designer series paper, and I really like it. So I think we're going to play with that and see which one we'll use. This is what I wanted to show you with the my piercing mat. This is the fence that I punched out, and you can see it has all those little pieces and parts to it. I don't know about you, but I get these all over the house or all over the floor, and then the dog is trying to get to them and eat them. So I just push these down right on my piercing mat, and they stay there. And then when I pick it up, they're adhered to that, and I can just dump them in the, look at that. You can just dump it in the wastebasket, and you don't have that mess. So I'm going to go ahead first and stamp my greeting. We're doing the Happy Halloween to you again. I'm a terrible stamper when it comes to stamping straight. So I tend to use my grid paper and line up the bottom of my card so that I have, so it's straight for me. So let's take our tree, and I really like the look of the tree behind the moon, or in front of the moon. So let's put our moon on, and I'm going to adhere it with glue. Now the other thing that you could do is you could stamp right on the card base, and then stamp your witch, if that's what you chose to do, right over it, and there would be no gap. So we're going to adhere that, and then let's see what we're going to do. I'm going to put the fence down here. So with that, I'm going to go back and dip my sponge in the glue. So let's pull that out. And as you can see, as we're working, I really do have a mess here, but it'll all clean up. So I'm just going to dab, just very, very lightly. And I just, mostly the edges to adhere them down. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere my fence right here. And I think I'd like to put my owl on the fence. So now the other thing you could do is pop him up with a Stampin' Dimensional. But I'm not going to, because I'm going to put a hat on him. And we have two hats. We can use this one, or we can use the one made out of the Designer Series paper, out of the candy corn. And I think I'm going to use that one. I think it's really cute and different. So let's put that on, and we're going to adhere that right there. Okay. Now let's see what we can do with the tree. Maybe instead of the witch, we'll just do a ghost. Or the little ghost. Let's try that. Let's put our tree down. I did one with the witch, so let's do a ghost. And then I'm going to take this little guy, and let's see how he's going to look. He could be popped up with a Stampin' Dimensional. And maybe have him coming across the moon. And then we're going to put on our, you can see I turned it over because I had made a mistake. We're doing Which Way to the Candy. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm enjoying being here with you. My goal is to be doing Sunday Stampin' every Sunday night at 7, so I hope you'll join me, and for a different project each week. Okay, so here's our card, and then I'm going to go back in, and you can see I have a 5-inch strip of the Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to adhere that to the bottom of the card to dress it up a little bit. The nice thing about some of these papers is they go in every direction, so you don't really have to worry about what direction you're putting them down in. Now, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and stamp a little bat or stamp a little spider coming down. I'm going to pull in our second card and bend it back, and we're just going to come in and stamp this little spider coming down, and look at that. How cute is that? So we have our cards, and the only thing left is to do our envelope. Let's do that, and we will have made 3 cards. And then let me show you, when I'm done, I'll show you the others that I made. So 3 really quick cards that took me less than 15 minutes to get all my supplies together. And we made 3 cards in less than half an hour. So just trimming around here. And here's our envelope for this card. Let me get this all out of the way, and I will show you the other cards that I made, and we'll be able to take a look at them. Okay, so here's our 2 with our little ghosts. One I had made ahead of time and one that we made tonight. Aren't they cute? And then we have 2 with the spider web, one with the black and one with the purple. And then I really, really love these. These are all with die cuts. So 6 cards using that Frightfully Cute stamp set. I really hope that you enjoyed tonight's video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. And check my Facebook page or my website, which is up there in the corner, for the next project next Sunday night. And I hope to see you then. Have a great evening and explore your love of stamping and paper crafting. Bye.